Welcome to Alumni Talk, another episode. I'm your host, Ricky Goins. It's brought to you by the Alumni Basketball League, who will bring you a full schedule of games of college rivalries and college basketball of their alumni during the summertime in 2023. We'll definitely be announcing our first couple games shortly. I'm your host, Ricky Goins. I'm the Director of Team Operations. It's also owned by Kareem Rush and Jake Jackson. This podcast is produced by Enspire Films, and it's on YouTube and also on Apple Podcasts. Please check our website out, ablballing.com, as well as our Twitter at the ABL USA and at ABL Balling on Instagram. I'm here with a guest, Mr. Nebraska himself, Steve Harley, one of the most athletic guards I've ever seen in my life. And he's still athletic even 20-something years later. Steve, it's great to have you, man. I appreciate you joining us.
And thanks for having me, man.
So, as we get started, talk about how you started playing. Like, what really got you into basketball?
Well, I got an older brother. He's like 4 years older than me. And he was playing growing up, and, you want to do what your big brother do, I was watching him, and we ended up playing on the same team. My mother put me on the same team as him. And that's kind of how my love for it grew. And I started, getting out on my own, and went from there, you know what I mean?
So what were some of the early teams you played for?
I played for John Edgar Howard Rec. I played for Fort Davis Rec over in the Southeast, and it was a team called Up Tempo, which probably was my first AU team I played with. That was with Travis Gerson and all them, and PG Jaguars and all that, and that's where it started at.
So who were some of the guys you played with? That was like on your team when you was younger. That's notable.
Like real young, or just coming up?
Just through your before we get to high school, like growing up.
Yeah. Like I said, Travis was. Probably a lot of guys that people like Delonte and
Delonte West.
No. This is somebody else. He used to play for Anacostia.
Oh, okay.
Back in the day, but yeah, probably guys that you would know. It'd probably be like Travis and stuff like that.
So, what made you decide to go to Crossland High School?
I knew Coach Sam because Coach Sam used to coach the PG Jaguars and Sky's the Limit. He used to coach Eddie Bastion and all them, and I was playing on the younger team. So of course he would like watch me. He knew who I was, but I never played for him back then. So as I got older, Sam got that job up Crossland. And this what happened. Tech World ended up closing down, so I had to go somewhere. And Sam was like,
"So you was at Tech World first?"
Yeah, I was at Tech World first.
Oh, I thought you was at Crossland first.
Nah, I went to Crossland my junior year.
Oh, okay. So let's start back there. So you went to Tech World. I only heard of it because I knew you. I had heard your name, and it was at Tech World. So like, where did Tech World come from? Like, was that one of those first basketball schools that we hear about?
Yeah, it was. They playing in the charter league. I mean, they had a team before I got there. They just was playing in the charter league. And, back then nobody wasn't keeping up with the charter league. But once I went there and I had a couple good games, we kind of like put us on the map. I mean, I ain't gonna say we was still getting, we was getting cooked, but people knew who he was. Man.
So who was you? Did you guys play a national schedule?
We played in the Beltway League, Rick. We had no business in this league. We was playing against National, Montrose, Notre Dame Prep, and all. We had no business in this league. But it was the best thing to happen to me, like basketball wise, because I got to play against that Division I competition like every game. I mean, we was getting cooked by 40, but we was out there. You know what I'm saying?
So, and we think about it. I remember you being there putting up, ridiculous numbers. In your era, guards were more so. This is like, I know it's around the time Steve Francis was coming to the NBA, but guards were known for facilitating. I remember you were like getting a real bucket and doing it like because when I think about guards now, everybody talk about athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember you being, ridiculously athletic for your size and scoring the basketball. So you can almost say like for high school basketball time, you were ahead of your time.
Yeah, well, this was back when You know, we was grow up here. We was watching AI at Georgetown. You know, he was different, man. Then when Francis came through Maryland, they wouldn't know regular guards, man. Even though Francis is 6'3", but they put that thing on your head.
Right.
And people don't, they don't think about when they think about AI like that. He had a no layup rule back then too. He was putting that thing on people's heads, man.
Man, was he?
Yeah.
I mean, so like while you was at Tech World, like who was your tougher matchups? Like, did you personally had to go 1-on-1 against? Like, who were you?
Well, playing in that Beltway league, it was guy from Baltimore. His name was Todd Galloway. He ended up going.
Tyler Galloway, Notre Dame Prep, right?
Yeah.
Florida State, yeah.
They had him, and they had the other young, and I ended up going. I think he signed with Rutgers, Devon, something like that. But Galloway, because he was older than me, he was stronger than me, he knew the game back then better than me. You know what I mean? It was a tough matchup for me, but it was good.
And you had I think Chris Cole was at National Christian.
Yeah, he was at National. Yeah,
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 Fat Cat. Yeah,
yeah.
I talked to
National
my
was
guy
cool. That's when Charlie was over there. Earl was there too, and all that.
Earl. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
played
No,
against
they.
I played against Earl when he came to Dunbar in DC.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was different.
Montrose also had Lennox Cleves. You remember him? He ended up
Yes, so my sophomore year, yeah,
different.
different type. And people don't even remember. He was only here, I think, 1 year, right, in this area. Was it
I
1
think
year? Was it
he might
two?
have played 1 or 2 years
I
here.
remember. So he was in the Charlie Weber 1 year I played. Man, he was totally different. Grown man.
That was a man amongst boys, man.
Grown
He
man.
played like a pro back then.
He did.
Yeah,
He did. I
yeah,
remember seeing it.
yeah.
Yeah. So you played at Tech for 2 years. You averaged like 30 a game
I
1
played.
year,
I
right?
played Tech for 1 year.
1 year. Then you went to
Pro.
Crossland.
Yeah,
Crossland.
yeah.
Okay. So talk about Crossland. What was that? 03, 04?
That was 02, 03.
02, 03?
Yeah.
So that's back when PG County basketball was, loaded.
Mm-hmm.
How far did you guys go?
I want to say maybe second. We lost to Jeff and them. Maybe like second round in the playoffs.
Jeff Green.
Yeah, because we was in 4A back then. 4A was tough.
Yeah, it was tough back
Yeah,
then.
and we ended up. I think Jeff and them won up states that year, or maybe
They won 04.
04. So they won the year, but we lost to them my junior year too. But yeah, we ain't nobody that could stop him. He was 6'8".
So your senior year, how far did you go?
Well, I went to Marriott my senior year.
So let's talk about Marriott.
Oh Lord,
because I remember. So it was you, Travis Ivy, was it, or was
Jerome
it Anthony
Hable.
Ivory? Jerome Hable. Yeah.
We had
Anthony Ivory, wasn't it? One
Anthony Ivory, yeah.
Anthony Ivory, yeah.
Big Ant, yeah. Ant signed with Temple when we was at Marriott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys played a national schedule, right?
Yeah. That's
so who's some of the schools and guys you played against?
What's that? Al Savy and stuff up New York. We played Longberg and all them, and this was all at the Slam Dunk to the Beach. Yeah, so the White Howard and them was there and all that. We had some good bump, man, and we was also in the Beltway League too. So every game, you better bring your A game, Slam. Yeah, we playing some smoke.
Wasn't nothing like that Beltway League, man, back then.
That Beltway was different, man. Allowed the reclass and all that stuff. They ain't getting nothing about that.
Yeah.
So it ain't nothing to be 20 years old out there. Yeah,
True though.
Like Nashville and them, they flying them in, man.
That's how it was back in the day, man.
Yeah.
I remember them leagues, and because you went in them because you might have, stayed back in high school. You had that extra year. You need to get it out somewhere. And WCAC wasn't having it, so
no. So you go over here, you go to that Beltway League, but it was good bump though. It was serious bump.
Great bump. So now you're out of high school, and you're making your college decision. Why did you decide to go? Because you went to one of the better JUCOs in the country. What made you make that decision? Who recruited you out of high school from a D1 level?
Well, when I was at Marriott, this is a crazy story. When I was at Marriott, Lon Kruger just got the job at UNLV. So I want to say maybe his first week on the job, he came up to DC, and we used to, I don't know if you know Walter Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Walt used to have us playing in this little gym out. It's a health club out in Montgomery County. It's like
Montgomery
on the line.
County.
Yeah, we used to play out there. Long Kruger ended up coming like his first week on the job. He came up here and he watched me play 2-on-2 at the health club. We was playing 2-on-2 whole court. He offered me a scholarship on the spot. I didn't even know it worked like that, Rick. I'm like, he ain't seen no transcript. He ain't seen nothing. He came to my house that day offered me. I said, shit, I ain't visited nothing. I said, yeah, I'm going. Committed like in 24 hours, as soon as like everything. This is when I was at Marriott. Because, I mean, I wasn't getting recruited like I wanted to. So when UNLV came on, yeah. But, you know, and then I ended up didn't get the scores and sat out like the whole year. I didn't even do nothing because I was supposed to go to the JUCO that I ended up eventually going to. I didn't even go there the first year I was supposed to go. I just sat at home. I didn't even get on the plane. I didn't want to leave DC. So I sat for a year and didn't do nothing. Year came back around the next summer. My mother and father looking at me like, you can go get a job or something. So I called back down to JUCO. Yeah, I'm coming. I'm gonna come for real.
What school you at?
What school? The JUCO? South Plains College in Texas. Yeah. So I called him back. Was like, I'm gonna come for real now. Ended up going in. That was a blessing, man. Because
Well, who played with you down in South Plains?
huh?
Who played with you down there in South Plains?
From here,
Oh, just period.
you know Jeremy Baker from here. Yeah, Jeremy played with me down
My
there.
guy.
I don't know if you know Itchy from out of Baltimore, Jermaine Bolden.
Yeah, I played against him in high school.
Yeah,
Scoring guy. People don't. That boy could score the basketball, man.
that was my point guard. Itchy was my point guard.
Yeah, he could score that. I remember because he was at Douglas.
Yeah, Itchy was tough, man.
Mm-hmm.
Strong too.
Strong
Yeah.
scored, and then yeah, man. That's a hell of a mouth. How'd you guys do? How far did you guys go in the JUCO?
We won the league my sophomore year. My freshman year, we ended up losing to number one JUCO in the country, which was Howard at the time. We lost to them in the semifinals to get to down Hutch. We lost to them down. But, you know, we was ranked both my years. We ended up at the end of the year being ranked both times.
So what? So let me ask you this. So what did your recruitment look like out of South Plains? Well, who were like some of the schools that recruited you?
I had like K-State, couple like mid-majors, St. John's, and but St. John's was going through this when they was coming off that trouble that they got in.
Mm-hmm.
So they couldn't even like play in the postseason. So of course I wasn't gonna do that. Then I had Nebraska and Texas Tech was because they was the closest school to us, but
Wasn't
I was
Bobby
just
Knight there then?
huh?
Was Bobby Knight there then?
Yeah, but he was leaving. Then his son ended up getting it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was on his way out. Matter of fact, my first year up Nebraska, Bobby Knight, that was his first year out. His son was the first. That was his first year coach.
So how did you decide on Nebraska? So I do my research. You know me, I'm a history guy, and I don't see many instances. It was I believe Bernard Day was before you,
Mm-hmm.
you, and then there was James Palmer later on. So what made you pick? I mean, you're talking about the cornfields. I mean, most people would never visit the state of Nebraska in their life. You're coming from DC.
Yeah,
Like, what? How did they get you? How did Nebraska get you?
that's what people think, man. But you know, the school is in Lincoln, it's in the capital of
Lincoln.
Nebraska. Yeah, so it's like in the Omaha and Lincoln are really like the city parts of Nebraska. And then you know they brought me down to visit. You know that of course they did. Took me to the football game. I'm looking like this is all right, man. And then it's not what people like you say the cornfields and all that. That's on the outskirts. But once you get into that city part, ask Tony Skin. He was like I didn't even know this was like this, man. But you'll be surprised. And then you know I ain't even get it. The girls and all. It was a couple women.
Hey, we know that's the unspoken. We know that's always
Yeah,
unspoken.
yeah.
So you get there and what is it like? Because this is the Big Ten now.
Well, we was in the Big
We in the
12.
Big 12, right?
Yeah, we was
Big
in the Big
12.
12.
Sorry, the Big 12 at the time. Yeah. So what was it like playing in the Big 12? And just talk about some of your games, your matchups. I know you played against Harden or something at some point.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. We
but
played.
what was it like being in that Big 12?
I had to get adjusted to it, man. It took me it took me some time to get adjusted to the size. You know what I mean? Because now the person that's guarding me, he can easily be 6'7". And then the thing about it is, I'm guarding him on the other end.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like I got to find a way to get my shot off a little faster now. You know what I mean? And then with the college basketball, it's a little different than JUCO basketball because JUCO basketball is more, you can go one-on-one in JUCO basketball. Once you get in them Power 5 conferences and it get real structure and it's very detailed, it's a little different. And coming from here, man, pass me the ball, get out the way. I got time for all that. Now I'm coming off double screens and I got to flash. I got to do all this stuff that I ain't used to been doing. You know what I mean? I'm just getting the ball so I can score. But once you get to that level, everybody can do that. You know what I mean? Everybody can. But then they taller than me, they stronger than me too now. So now I gotta really like outsmart these people, man, to try to, get some type of advantage in my favor.
So what was practice like when you first got there? Like with coach and everything.
I didn't. The very first workout, I didn't even make it through it. I didn't make it through. I was here the whole summer before I went out there. I'm playing on the farms and all that here and there. And it ain't that in shape. Like, it ain't no Power 5 in shape. I'm thinking I'm all right, man. I get there. Like, from August to, like, the end of September before practice start, you got, it's like a certain time that you only can work out. So we having, like, individual workouts, which is, like, 40, 50 minutes. But it's all day. I didn't even make it through it. Like, to the point they thought something was wrong with me. It was like, my shins and stuff started hurting. I go get an MRI. They say I got shin problems. I might need surgery. I said, man, ain't nothing wrong with me. I just ain't prepared right now. I just ain't ready right now. But, kept pushing. It worked. You know what I mean?
So how did you guys do your first year there?
We went to the NIT. We lost the, who we lose? Mississippi State and the NIT down Mississippi. No, Ole Miss. We lost to Ole Miss down there. It was all right, man. It was, for Nebraska, it was good. You know what I mean?
Being a
Making the
football,
postseason, anything, it was good.
being a football school.
Yeah, being a football school, NIT, they good with that, man.
So your last year there, that's when you played against Harden, was it? Was he your toughest matchup you ever had in college?
Oh, I played against Harden both years because we had a home and away against him with Arizona State. I mean, he was good. Don't get me wrong, but I'd say people like them guys from out Kansas and all that. That was just different, man. Like, don't get me wrong. Harden was a problem, man. He was a pro. But I didn't know nothing about Harden back then. These people was like, I wasn't on the internet looking at these guys and all that stuff, so I don't even know what these dudes is. But when I got on the court, I found out the hard way. But I wouldn't say he was my toughest matchup, though. I wouldn't say that. He might have had, even if he had 20 on us, but,
Because you had to match up with Mario Chalmers too, right?
Yeah, we played
He
against, that's
came.
won national championship.
Yeah, he came on the show a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
What do you? Yeah, what was your? How was it battling with him? Because he was like defensive player of the year one year.
Oh, yeah, he was tough, man. But they was heavy from top to bottom because I think they had Sharon Collins coming off the bench that year. And, he was a real deal, too, man. But then they had the younger from New York who was also in the backcourt with him. I forgot his name, though. And then they had Brandon Rush, too. He was on that.
Brandon Rush, he was on the show a couple. Yeah,
Huh?
yeah, he was on the show a couple weeks ago too.
Yeah, he was on that team, too.
So, after your college career, man, what was your thoughts about going pro?
Well, when I signed that age, and I was just trying to get anywhere, I ended up playing in Brazil, and then I messed my knee up, and I was like, that's when I went back and got my degree after that, man. It was just like, I got to look for the next phase. Once they took my meniscus out my knee, I had to go look for something else to do, man.
And that's crazy, man. But like, just to circle back on one part, man. Like, I'm telling you, I don't know if there was more point guards more athletic than you. Like, when did you realize you could play like at that explosive? Because, like, I mean, you could score, you filled it up, but like, When did you realize athleticism could be a big part of your game?
Well, when I started jumping, I was playing with DC Hawks. This was Bob Lucas and my peoples at the time. And I could jump, but I would never dunk in the game. She's like, why you don't ever just dunk the ball in the game? And once I did it one time, it just like, I just started looking for it every game. And it's just like, once you start getting used to playing over that rim, it's like, that's what you need to do.
We found it back in the Legend Coalition, man. I remember you dunking one time when we was like you was warming up. I was
Now
good.
I gotta pick. I gotta give myself a prep talk now in the morning if I'm gonna dunk the ball.
Oh, you still dunking now?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
If I give myself that prep talk, like I'm gonna go out and dunk today, then I'm
So I gotta ask. So for my last question, right? This is when I post my clips, I gotta ask something uh controversial. So when you were in the area, right, growing up, who did you name three people you saw as your rival in your, let's say from 15 to 18, whatever, three people that you saw as your rival that you saw as on your level. So the implication is that if you don't name somebody, they're going to feel a certain way. So
exactly.
that's what we do it for. So what three people you consider your rival back then?
Like, did I really have to play against them, or was they just somebody like I was checking for what they're doing?
Check. That's fine. Whichever one.
Oh man. Now when you got text messages going off, I can say when I was whatever in the Metro and scoring, I would check to see what Trey is doing.
Trey Kelly,
He was, it was me and him like
right, neck and neck.
Yeah, I how many points? Damn, I got each motherfucker hit 40. I don't know. Like Shaq was like my teammate, so I wasn't following Campbell. That's my guy. So I mean, but he was a killer. He was a killer though. Mm-hmm. And then I would say, I don't know. I don't think they was rivals. They just was like good guys, and I would say like Sam and Chris and them to see what they was doing.
No, you got to give me one more. You saying Chris or you saying Sam?
Sam was the one. Chris was probably the two, so it might be Sam.
So you're gonna say Sam. So Trey Kelly, following Campbell, Sam Young is who you was checking for, man. I can't wait for Chris.
Also, Chris too. When Chris was at Fairmont, Chris must see TV. So.
I was gonna say I want Chris McCray to see this too, so they can have their thoughts about it.
Yeah.
But, great to have you, man. Great conversation. Me and you talk all the time. You're a little older than me, but a little bit older than me. But man, I remember just seeing you and hearing about you was, amazing, man. And for you to go out in the Big 12 and play in Nebraska and get away from DC, I always shout guys out to do that, man, because a lot of guys leave home.
Yeah.
And you don't hear about them no more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They get lost in the sauce. For you to start there, man, that's big time, man. You supported me and a lot of stuff I've done, so I always appreciate you, man. So appreciate it, man. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for everybody.
I don't off this thing without talking about this murder in Nebraska. Nah, go ahead.
Hey, you know what? So we always gonna have heat about that. Yeah, my boy took it L, but Jameer and Donald, I held him accountable the other night, so it won't happen again.
Yeah.
But thanks, guys, for joining us on Alumni Talk. Definitely check this podcast. It will be on Apple Podcasts as well as YouTube. And check out our website, airbillbottom.com, produced by my brother Ethan from Enspire Films. We are out.
All right.